One of the questions I get a lot is, I have a herniated disc and maybe I'm feeling a little bit better. So when can I run? Or when can I golf? Or, when can I start to live my life again? We have a lot of surfers. When can I surf? When can I dance? These are all important questions because we don't want to make it worse. You want to do the right thing as you're progressing and getting better to make sure that you're not going to make it worse. And as we know, the annulus starts to break down and then the disc starts to herniate. So there's only 4 things that you have to be able to do, or that you're doing properly, or that you're getting stronger in these 4 areas. So it's a good idea to develop some goals. Some of you may be ready now, but some of you may not be ready. And then there's just simple things that you have to do every day. And this is part of our pathway out of back pain, 10X. It's a step-by-step process that helps you eliminate your back pain. We've talked about these 5 steps. Number 1, you have to have healthy movement patterns. You have to know and you have to maintain the healthy movement patterns. You have to make sure that your spine is not going into positions that's going to make it worse. You have to know what those are. And you have to commit those to your nervous system, meaning it's stuff that you have to do every day. So you have to have healthy movement patterns and you have to know what they are. And you have to have the ability to maintain it. Number 2 is you have to have the endurance in the muscles so that you can maintain the healthy movement patterns. So you're not going to get a breakdown, because we know that the spine really is not designed to do all the bending. The bending has to come from the hips. So we have to train the hips to do the work, and we have to lock down the spine so it's not moving into positions that's going to aggravate the problem. And the way you do that is through core endurance, through all the muscles here. The stronger these muscles are here, the more you can live your life. The weaker these muscles are here, the less you can live your life. You want to live your life? We have a program to help you identify what muscles have to be activated, and you have to develop the endurance. So after you increase the endurance, you don't get endurance by doing the activity one day and or 1 week. And what happens sometimes is people feel, oh, I feel a lot better. Well, you haven't been doing it that long. You don't have the endurance. You do run the risk of making it worse. So this is our key, stabilizing the core muscles. Okay? It's a step-by-step process. So the question is, how is your core? Is it strong enough to maintain the movement patterns that are the most appropriate for your back problem? Number 3. Motion of the hips. The hips have to do the work, so they have to be mobile. You cannot mobilize a hip if you don't have the endurance, because what happens is you start to mobilize before the endurance and then you aggravate the disc. Make the back strong, work the core, and then start to work the hips. And when you're ready, okay, after you have some mobility, then you can do all these activities again. But the key is the endurance. When you have the endurance, after you increase the endurance, you'll be ready to do it. And then it's the hip strength. But you don't need the hip strength yet, because you can get the hip strength by doing your activity, by doing the golfing, by doing the running. Okay, but the rule of thumb for anything that we do, once it starts to hurt, you've aggravated it, meaning you've gone beyond your capacity or your threshold for tolerance of the activity, meaning you don't have the strength yet. It's real simple. If you do something and it hurts, you don't have the strength. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Doesn't mean the back will never get better. It just means that you went a little too fast. This is what you have to do. Now, there's a 4th step, and to me, this is maybe the most important. This is reactivating the nervous system to maintain the stability in your spine before you do the activity. And it doesn't matter what the activity is. If you have to go to work and you're going to sit in a chair, well, then do the reactivation before you get to work. If you can work for 3 hours, then you start to have pain, do the reactivation then. Okay? It's the pre-core activation. What that means is if you're going to run, what you do is you do your core exercises before you're running. And what that does is it gives you what's called residual neural stiffness. Okay, you've awakened the nervous system to then activate the muscles to do the work that are necessary to maintain your spine. It works very, very, very well. Okay, when you can reactivate your neural stiffness to then get these muscles to do what they're doing, it can last up to 2 hours. It gives you the stability, and it can last between 20 minutes and 2 hours. So if you're going to go running, do your core work first. If it's the bird dog, do the bird dog. If it's the ab curls, do the ab curls. But whatever your core work is that we help you identify in the 10X program, in the relief routine, know what your bias is and do your bias exercises for your core and develop the residual neural stiffness. So that gives you stiffness, so then you can go do the activity. It doesn't matter if it's golfing, if it's running, if it's dancing, if it's surfing. And I tell you what, I've never surfed, but I'm going. I'm going to Australia and I'm going to surf. And I'm coming for you guys. And you have to help me. All right. So this neural stiffness will give you the stability that you need through the length of your activity, okay? Athletes that do core work before their event do better.